Hello, hello. I'm Diane. I'm with Karen. We are back here at the Soul Light Collective today talking about loneliness. Do you feel lonely? I know I have felt lonely in my life, especially on the spiritual journey. Awakening can feel very isolating. And we're here today to talk about our experiences with loneliness versus alone. And I want to tell you that you are not alone. You are never alone. And welcome in. Welcome into our channel. If you're new to our channel, we bring everyday spirituality here, energy healing transmissions through light language, giving you tips and tools. And today we're talking about loneliness and giving you, sharing some of our own experiences and perhaps some tips to help you feel less isolated on this journey that can, again, feel very derailing at times. Yeah.
Yes, definitely, Diane.
You,
I'm being shown that visual of butterflies, right? And the single chrysalis, and then whenever we usually see butterflies, they are in a group, right? But there's that process that we have to go through alone in the beginning. And
yeah.
that's not a comfortable place for a lot of us to look at. Being lonely. Am I the only one going through this? Am I the only one who's had this experience? How do I find my people? How do I step onto that spiritual journey that I'm being surrounded by, right? I've got numbers coming at me, and I've got dreams sending messages, and I have billboards. It's just all the synchronicities around us, which are here to provide that. Like, you're awakening, you're on the right track. These things are happening, and you're okay. And then where do I do? Where do I go? Right. And that part of the journey, the early stepping onto that can feel very lonely. That is something I resonate with. I am the only person this is happening to. And in our fury, I think we seek others immediately instead of making. Sometimes there's that choice, right? As we evolve, right, on the journey, it's like, oh, did you think to sit down and go into quiet and peace and solitude? No, I thought to get on Instagram and Google and what does this mean, and the fury of it, and then worse, right? Exposing myself to people in my family who are like, "You're crazy. Why are you talking about these things?" Then you really start to feel lonely,
Yes,
right?
that you
Yeah.
just hit the nail on the head. Really, I think for me, also feeling so displaced, like I don't
Mm.
belong here. I've felt that since I was very small. What am I here for? I never felt like I fit in with other um, people a lot of my life. Of course, I had friends and still have friends, but many of those friends have fallen away. Um, and family members gatherings, can feel uncomfortable at times because I don't, those family members that are closest to me sometimes feel the farthest away. Like there's this disconnect or this like I'm living two lives. Um, and I will say that if any of my family members happen to see this, I think they probably, are tuned into that. But it's like this, they're not on this journey yet, and that's okay. They are where they're at. And it can feel like sometimes you just are craving these, wanting to share with others of what you're going through. Um, I just remember the shift happening where I felt like everything was falling down around me. And I just wanted to run away. I didn't know where I was going to go, but I'm like, I can't live like this anymore. I don't fit in here. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. Um, but deep down inside, I did know that I was here for a purpose, and I was,
Mhm.
here to help other people along with being on my own healing journey. And for some of us, we're not meant to belong. We are here on a mission. Not to say
Mhm.
we're not here to belong, but we're here to connect with our soul family. And that's why we're here
Mhm.
at the Soul Light Collective, for you to join in and join us, and knowing that your soul family is here. And you may feel, here's these two women online, like you've never personally met, but yet there's something drawing you in. And I'm going to pass it back to you,
Yeah.
Karen, on that.
Yeah. Yeah. So, this is a huge part of the awakening. This is a part of the awakening that was probably the hardest. It was that, or those early stages of, oh, how do I protect myself? How do I in the outer world, right? How do I not say the wrong thing to the wrong people? And how do I find my community? I think that's kind of like the path, right? Like I need my people, right? And or they'll say, a lot of times you'll hear it is like I found my soul tribe, or um and there's such an opening through starting that journey, that next step on the journey through the awakening of it's so funny because I always want to say like-minded people, right? But I think at some point it becomes like-hearted people, right? You want to be
Yes.
with people who don't just think the way you do, maybe feel the way you do, or experience the world the way you do. And that can be through, like I'm hearing, like it can be like angelic, starseed, interdimensional. There's that beautiful connection with that druidry, and like there's all these like points, access points, right? I almost picture it as a wall that has like all these dots on it, and you can just like, which one do I want to explore, right? I want to which choice do I want to make today? And like that is like that beautiful opening to the awakening, because you get to choose, right? You get to choose, and then you can get yourself involved with a beautiful community, and you can start to figure out who you are. You can start to say, "Oh, this isn't for me. Thank you anyway," or "Wow, I think I'm going to really learn some things here." Or maybe another community, you're like, these are all the things I want to learn, but there's something missing, and you're like, and you're learning so much about what your heart's desiring, what your soul is wanting you to grow in. And we don't do that alone. We
No.
don't do that in a space of loneliness, and we don't do that in a place of, well, we do our beautiful, greatest work inward. I don't want to confuse that. We do go inward for that. But I have always found when I connect with people who are feeling the same way I am, that we can evolve so much faster together. And
Yes.
and for me that's been a lot of I've taken a lot of classes, and I've taken a lot of trainings and certifications and all these beautiful things, but it was always that, you understand me, thank you, I see you. Somebody coming to you and saying, I see you.
Yeah.
Oh, like there goes my heart, like like that's what I was seeking, right? Now let's work together a little bit and see how we can evolve, right? Um, and we don't have to do this work alone. And I
No.
do love also, I wanted to mention, like we all are at different stages of the game. I call it the game. We're all different stages of the game. And through our explorations, and I've had fear hold me back down sometimes, and like, oh, I'm not ready for that. I don't want to look at that. But there's always somebody ahead of us who said yes and opened that. I'm hearing it as the key of knowledge, right?
Yeah.
They've unlocked that piece, and they have it. And then we interact with them. We bump up against each other, and I'm so grateful, right, that somebody else said yes when I was feeling lonely and alone and in fear. And wow, look what they can hold, the space they can hold for me now that I'm ready to open that. Um, yeah, it's such an important part, feeling comfortable of finding people to work with. And that can be practitioners you choose to work with, healers. mediums, artists, Akashic reader, like all of it, psychic, all of it, beautiful people who are opened in their gifts, and they are waiting for you, right? They're
Mhm.
waiting for you. Oh my God, how many times have we had that
Mhm.
conversation? And we're not always ready. But then we do. Like, these people are there with their hand out waiting for us. They're part of our community.
Yeah, and I certainly wouldn't be where I am today had I not had all those people who had gone before me to help me with my, healing physically, emotionally, spiritually,
Mm.
mentally. Um, and I have had people in the past say to me, actually, very recently, somebody brought it up this week, saying, I have such, I'm not sure if she used the word shame, but that's the word that's coming to me. I have such shame around, like, I know that deep down, I know that I am a healer because we all are. So why can't I do this myself? And I said, well, look at it like this. If your HVAC system broke, would you fix it yourself? I mean, unless
Because you have
you're
a wrench and a screwdriver. Yeah.
because you have a wrench and a screwdriver, right? Or do you call in the experts? Maybe you could, look up some YouTube videos and try to figure, but that's a big job, right? I certainly wouldn't attempt to do it. I probably could learn and study, but it would take a while. And no, I want that HVAC fixed now so I can be hotter or cooler or
Yeah.
warmer or cooler, whatever. So I like that analogy. Yes, we all are healers, but it's we forget that, and Karen and I are here. That's what we do with people. We help people remember the truth of who they are and help them in healing
Mm.
whatever needs to be healed through
Yeah.
energy
We,
practices. But I don't want to get off our topic on being lonely versus being alone.
yeah,
We're gonna,
and what comes up for me a little bit is we talk a lot on our journey about, well, you have to go inward, right? There's you have to do that piece, right? There's that so much in there for you to explore and excavate and forgive and all of that embodiment. Beautiful. Um, but I also choose to understand that, like, so I'm traveling with my tribe, right? My soul tribe is here. And I had somebody say, when I was questioning that, like, yeah, but I'm not supposed to, like, do this all on my own and go inward. And she did say to me, she said, you have all these beautiful souls around you who have all their own wisdom. And there's almost like we have these soul agreements, like we come into this lifetime together and have soul agreements that I'm going to step forward and I'm going to help you when you hit that wall. And um, and I found such beauty in that. It was so freeing for somebody to say that to me, because I felt like I had to know, I have to do this. I have to go do this. And I'm the one who's supposed to. And it was like, there's some freedom in knowing that some of my community is there and is so good at what they do. I might not be the best Akasha. I can get into the Akashic and I can read in my records, but somebody can do it so beautifully and so much easier. Like, let them. It's kind of like a let them, right?
yeah.
They're part of my internal, like, my resonance with this person. And what is the word? I've lost the word. Like, they're passing all my tests, and yes, this person's
Yeah, you connect with them
working of their heart.
energetically.
We connect,
Mhm.
and how, like, there's a miracle in that, right? Knowing that, wow, this soul helper stepped in right when I needed them. And sometimes we don't even know, right? Because we're kind of like, oh, I'm feeling alone and I don't know. And you'll get a hit, like, oh, I think I might go see this person. That's how a lot of our people find us, Diane. They just kind
Yeah,
of like, that's the
all the
majority of my
time.
clients of, like, I saw your website, or I saw your picture, or I heard your voice, and it's like resonates, right? It's just like, and like, there's that beauty, there's that softness and that flow. Like, thank you for saying yes. And I'm that person too, right? I am that person too.
Mhm. And we
It makes
trust
the
that
journey a lot
guidance
easier.
when we
We
are,
trust it.
and you kind of know, right? You know, when you connect with somebody, it's like, or maybe you're praying to be connected with somebody to help you, and then all of a sudden somebody gives you the name of, oh, you should call so and so, and then that's like just divinely happens. But I also want to talk about how yes, we have a whole, soul connections with others who are here to help us on our journey here in this earthly plane, but we have so much love and support and guidance in the spiritual world that they're here with us all the time, around us, our guardian angels. Like they just want to communicate with us, and they are here to help us, and they won't overstep boundaries, so they kind of wait to hear from us,
Mhm.
how can we work together. And I love putting that, like, instead of like, to me, like a prayer for help, whatever or whoever you're praying to, whatever your belief system is, feels very lonely, right? You're
Mm.
crying out, please, please God, help me, please, whoever, help me find this and this, or get this and this, or do this and this, or heal this and this. And um, when we can put it a different way, when we're really connecting with that, um, whether it's a loved ancestor who has crossed, or a guardian angel, or an angel, or God, or Jesus, or Buddha, or whoever, when we come with our requests or desires with a we, how can we do this? How can we figure
Mm.
this out? Or what can we do to get this, and this to happen? Um, if just stating that feels like you are not alone. And it's a remembering of
Yeah.
you are never alone. You have a whole spiritual team um, waiting to work with you. And that's what their jobs are in the
Yeah.
world that we cannot see. Some people can see clairvoyance, clairsenses, your spirit guides. Sometimes they come in as light, as different colors, as different feelings of energy, or different symbols, signs. I It's another thing we need to have a conversation on symbols and signs.
Yeah.
But
Let's work
yeah,
that out.
just knowing you are never alone. And let's talk a little bit about the frequency, the energy of loneliness versus being alone.
Uh, Being alone. Yeah.
Over to you.
Um, Yay. Like, yeah. So I experience loneliness as a fairly low vibration, right? There's like that selflessness, feeling abandoned, untrusting. There's a kind of like that very, I'm so lonely. Like there's no
Feels heavy.
heavy, and there's no choice in it, right? There's no I have nothing. I have no choice.
Victimhood.
Victimhood for sure. And like there's like this choice in up leveling that to alone, right? What can I do when I'm alone? Like, so Diane was just mentioning, like, asking
It's a
through our
gift.
prayers,
It's a gift.
right? It's a gift. It is a gift. But when we are asking for we're asking through our prayers, right? Where do we go to hear? Where's the answer, right? For me, that's in the quiet, in the solitude, and in the meditation, and in the walks, and being in nature. Like, that's the choice to be
That's outside.
alone.
Getting
I
that
know, I
out.
got that. They're always with me. There's that choice. It's almost like, no, I've had many times I'm like, I'll say to my daughter, I'm going to go out and walk among the trees. Oh, I'll come with you. And it's kind of like, oh, I would love that, but I really need to be alone, right? And that's so different than,
Yes.
I'm so lonely, you don't have time to go for a walk with me. There's this beautiful up-level choice of, I need to commune. Like, I need to go and have that alone time so that I can be better when I'm with you. Um,
Beautiful.
filling my cup, filling that cup, putting the air mask on first. But I do that through quiet and being alone. Having tools around me that support that. Like if I'm sometimes I'll just take my drum. I have my drum. I'll take my drum and just drum like a heartbeat. And that's me being alone, but it's such a beautiful alone. Um, it's connecting with so much more than that's physically around me. Whereas if I could go stand and I'll say a function, I'll say a family function, where I can feel 10 times more alone and unconnected and disconnected and not seen and not heard. That's uncomfortable. That feels lonely.
Mhm.
And sometimes being alone is that vibrational support that I'm needing. And that can be a beautiful choice to make. And when you start to look at it, a little bit of a shift of why am I being asked to be alone right now?
Mhm.
Right? Maybe there's something universe has so grand planned that that's requiring me to be alone right now. I might need to pass through the loneliness to get there. But I trust in that. I trust in plans being canceled. I trust in I was trying to get into a gym class the other day and I was told that I registered wrong for it. And I stood there like I'm being held out from the class, like I really wanted to do it, but it was like, it's not for me right now. I was
Yeah.
probably going to hurt myself, right? It doesn't matter. And when you're in that choice of being in a higher vibration and higher frequency to receive what's coming, there's so much beauty in that. That's where the miracles are. I always say to my group, that's where the magic is, right? That's where the
It is.
magic is.
It
But
is.
I receive from that higher frequency of um, connecting with as Diane was saying, my beautiful team, right? My team, my angelic team, my supportive team. And maybe if you just can spend a moment thinking about, am I alone or am I lonely?
Right.
And how, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking like you can be alone and sit in front of the television and feel numbed out where you're not connecting to uh, feelings that can feel lonely. Um, you can be turning to substances
Mhm.
to help you not feel alone. Again, to numb out. There's a lot of things we can do to numb out, which I used to do. Um, but when we can really start to get comfortable in that uncomfortableness that can feel when we are alone, um, can feel uncomfortable. But when we can really start, okay, I have this time, it's just me, and what am I going to do with this time? Like really being mindful about what are you going to do with that alone time? Are you going to do busy work and clean the house and do the laundry and all that stuff that needs to be done? Probably you might do that. But can you even just take 5 minutes, maybe even just 3 minutes to just be with your breath
Mm.
and connect inside and maybe be intentional about, with every shirt that I fold, I'm going to take a moment of gratitude for the person whose shirt this is, or the people who made this shirt or whatever. It's just being more present, being
Yeah.
more mindful. And maybe you're never alone. Maybe you live in a household with a lot of people and you're never physically alone, but yet you do feel
Lonely.
alone.
Yeah.
And I've been there, and that can feel lonely, right? Because all this is going around you. There's all these conversations of more, I don't want to say
Yeah.
they're not important, but yet they don't speak to the heart. It's all mind chatter going on, mind chatter. And for us who are empaths or more sensitive or just on this awakening journey and being around, again, people who are closest to us who aren't there, um, that can feel really isolating. And so I've said before, like, I feel more alone sometimes when I'm with a group of people, and like you just said it, than when I'm actually alone by myself. So if
Yeah.
any of you can relate to that, let us know in the comments.
Yeah, exactly. I just,
Because you're
and I'll
not,
just finish.
like we feel
I'm
that
going to
way.
finish my
Yes,
just
go
going to
ahead,
finish my part of
finish.
I'm just seeing this beautiful analogy coming in. Like there's a difference between the TV. I'm seeing young people in my life. The TV's on. We're sitting in presence together. Phones are out, and we're either endlessly scrolling with the background noise, that's lonely,
Yeah.
or I'm noticing like I'll turn and be like, "Are you on your phone?" And it's like, "No, I'm talking to someone," right, with the background noise, and they're texting and they're communicating, and we have this beautiful creation of these screens, right? These Diane and I are on different edges of the East Coast here, but we get together and we connect and we talk and we're heart centered, and there's a resonance and that's difference between just scrolling, looking, searching for something endlessly versus getting on and having conversations. And I just see that difference between being on the couch and talking to somebody through the phone, seeking connection. And usually they find it. They find it a lot faster than I do, versus that endless scrolling. And that's that loneliness versus, yeah, I'm choosing to be here on the couch alone, but I think I'll connect out with somebody now.
Yeah.
And I'll leave it with you.
No, that's 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 a great, I think, place to end it. But know that
Yeah.
you're here with us, you're part of this community, the Soul Light Collective. And Karen and I are, kind of feeling into offering more to our community as it's growing. We're a new channel. Thank you for watching and subscribing and sharing. But if you are feeling alone and you're looking for more community on this journey, we're kind of feeling into offering maybe a monthly or
Mm.
bi-weekly gathering on like a Zoom call. So we would love your feedback on that, and um, let us know what other topics you'd like for us to cover. And we'll link a few other videos in the description
Mm.
at the end that may resonate with you. But we're just glad you're here, and we're sending you all
Thank
so
you.
much love and peace. Thanks,
Thank you.
and we'll see you soon.